Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we just finished setting up earlier this afternoon the new JTR Kallos 465 speakers. So in the Obsessed Home Theater lab, this is a room that we're building so that I don't have to continually tear apart my personal home theater. And so up front, we've got 3 speakers, identical. These are the Kallos 465. So this is in natural finish. So these haven't started, actually no, they have started shipping. We've only got the first initial batch. We're just waiting to get quite a bit more from production. So this center channel, you can rotate this horn. So you can see here it says 90 degrees and 60 degrees. So doing it horizontal, you want to rotate that horn, just unscrew those 4 screws, and then you can rotate that. So that's in a black finish here. And so the way that this driver or the speaker is configured, so it's a 2-way speaker, so you got a horn, and then the other part of the 2-way would be the 2 mid-range drivers here, and then these are passive bass radiators there, and that helps keep this cabinet really slim, so you can see it's not very thick. So we've got a 5.1 system. So first thing to notice in this room, this is a work in progress. This is the very beginning stage. It's about 15 feet wide, 30 feet deep. Just got our Valencia seats in. So we got those set up today. We set up the Valerian Vision Master Pro 2. Set that up on a 100-inch screen, nothing big. Now, ideally, these are designed not to be floor standing way out in the middle of the room. Ideally, you want to take these and mount them to your wall. So Jeff, the owner of JTR, he's working on he's got the mounting holes back here. So these threaded screw holes. Then there's also keyhole up top and down at the bottom. But ideally, you want something that, doesn't come out too far on your wall. So it mounts pretty close. So you can mount them to your side walls, front, left, center, and right. You can either mount them horizontally like that, or if you had an acoustically transparent screen, these you wouldn't have to have a massive depth of your screen. You could easily put a screen, right here and only need about 8 inches off your front wall. So that'd be a pretty sweet setup. 5.1 system. We have a JTR Captivator RS1. So that's a single sealed cabinet, 18-inch driver, 2400 watt continuous amplifier. And we powered the entire system just starting off with a Denon 4800H, okay? Kaleidescape was our source. Eventually, we just want to do some more testing, of course. We want to see how does, adding an amplifier, whether it's OSD, Parasound, something of that nature, NAD. But today, number 1, we had a great time. Number 2, these speakers can absolutely hit reference volume with just an AVR. Now, granted, we only had 5 speakers. We didn't have 11 speakers in here. If we had 11 speakers, that might have changed a little bit. Because the more speakers you have powered by the same AVR, the less power each speaker is going to get. But these will get super loud, so no problem there. Even though they're a little bit less sensitive than some of their, the counter tower parts or counterparts, the towers here. There's a couple of more JTR speakers back here, 212 HTR. So those are going to be, 212 RTs. Those will definitely, be a little bit more sensitive, so they're easier to drive. But the plan is, we just wanted to get an initial experience with these, because the only time I've heard them is at Scott Newby's house in a 2-channel. So this is the first time experiencing in a surround sound setup. We want to still play with it, of course. There's a lot of things we got to do. We spent probably about an hour calibrating, but there's so much more that we can do. We haven't taken any measurements yet to see, what does need to change. Are there any issues, in placement? Is there any issues with EQ, things like that? But we like what we hear so far. But I think there's definitely some areas of improvement by adding acoustic treatment in this room. I've always told you guys that if you can start with treatment, do that. So many times we think we need a better AVR, we need a better subwoofer, we need a better center channel. And the issue isn't that, the issue is the room, the acoustics. So the acoustics in this room isn't amazing, but we're gonna get it there. We're gonna get it to where it's, you know, this isn't a professional studio. This isn't a, $1 million theater room. This is a room, this could be typical of your basement, this size. And we're just going to build this out. The biggest thing is so that I can swap out gear, so that we can get a different subwoofer in, and easily have room to swap that out. Or maybe we put 4 subwoofers, put one there, put one up in the front corner, another one in the front corner. I don't have that luxury at my house. I don't have the space. I don't have the room to be able to do that. And so this room is going to afford me a lot of options to really dive in and test some gear. One thing we want to do is find some really budget friendly. I posted a video today on Sue Research. So they just announced and they sent me some small bookshelf speakers and a subwoofer. So I want to chase that. I want to find out what's a great budget friendly projector for you guys. We just want to chase all those products and find some really, really great stuff. Amplifiers. We want to have some higher priced amplifiers, some stuff that's just really amazing. But what about something that's very affordable? Because everybody doesn't have the same budget. So this is literally stage 1 with Kallos. Super excited. I'm really grateful that Jeff has created and designed a speaker, a new series that is, the purpose of this is mainly for people that don't have the space for a 6-foot stinking tower that's got dual 15-inch woofers in it. Most of you aren't going to put this in your living room, but you could probably put this in your living room. This is not a fancy sound bar. This is a high performance, high SPL, quality made, left, center, right, identical speakers. Now Jeff is making, this is the 465. He's making a 265. So imagine, remove, let's say this driver and this driver. So the 265 would be a tweeter, mid-range or woofer. And then, well, I guess that'd be your mid-range, and then a bass radiator here. So it's going to be not quite half that size, but definitely shorter. So ideally, if you did not want to put this as your surrounds, you could do the 265s. Now, this is the RS1, relatively small cabinet, but you can see that's an 18-inch driver. So the width of that is going to be about 20 inches, roughly 20 inches. And I think one of the dimensions is like 18 inches. The new Kallos is going to be smaller profile. It's not going to be just a big black box like this. And I'll put an image up here on the screen so you can see what that looks like. But Jeff is, once again, designing a subwoofer to go with the Kallos series. It'll have the same aesthetics like this. So it'll match this exactly. Got the rounded corners like that. High performance, but not quite the performance of, say, an RS1. But again, you're paying for the small profile and the nicer cabinet. And so anyway, just wanted to give you kind of an update. I'll be back up here. I've been coming up here every Monday and every Friday. And so today's Friday, so I'll be back here on Monday. We're gonna play with the system again, crank it up, dial it in, and then hopefully within the next couple weeks, we'll have acoustic treatment. We've even been talking with a brand. We may even get them to basically do a 3D rendering of the room and let us know exactly where to place those. So we're in conversation with them. So we'll bring you along that part of the journey as well. But I could not be more pleased with the direction we're going here in the Obsessed Home Theater lab. Like I said, I finally get to get some of this stuff out of my living room and out of my theater room and begin to review it and test it and figure out what are those amazing products here at Obsessed Home Theater. Now, I also want to extend a personal thank you to James. James allowed us to borrow his Kallos 465 so that we could demo it here. We only had 4 speakers here. We needed one more. He had placed an order for that, and we reached out to him and said, hey, James, if you say no, we perfectly understand. We totally get it. We'll be happy to ship it out to you, but could we borrow it for just a couple of days? Could we use it, test it out? And he said, absolutely. That's just another quality control. And so he was so gracious. So James, thank you so much, brother. Super appreciate not only your trust in us as a company, but also your support of Obsessed Home Theater and allowing me to borrow your speaker for just a little bit. It's been taken care of. We'll get it boxed back up and shipped out first thing Monday morning to you. So guys, hope you have a great weekend. If you got any questions, drop me an email or in the comments down below. Be glad to answer those and help you out. But my email is youthman@obsessedhometheater.com. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video. It's been a long day. Just want to give you an update. Super pumped about these. We do have, I think we got about 4 in stock. Once Jeff gets some more built, then of course we're going to buy those, and then we'll be able to ship those out. Pretty much they ship out either the same day or sometimes the following day typically. And definitely want to give you an opportunity. If this is something you're looking for, go to the website, obsessedhometheater.com, and you can check out the Kallos series. I've got about a 2-hour drive back home, so it's been a long day. I'm heading home. Hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless. Catch you in the next video.